Caesar, you're up. Caesar is not here. Okay, Imani, you're up first.
All right, cool. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so I just need some feedback slash opinion slash help, all that good stuff on like just starting out my portfolio, mainly like my case study though, because I've been having a lot of trouble with that. So some of you saw this already, like this is the landing page for my portfolio. And I'll have all of my projects here, and then it's going to be kind of like one page, so about me and then get in touch. And then these other pages will basically be for my case studies. So I really mainly need just some feedback on publishing my case study, and I don't know, just how I'm going about it. Should I post a link to my Figma?
Yeah, that'd be great. So we can also leave comments there, and then maybe we can also leave comments in the thread in Slack if they're higher level.
Okay, let me do that.
And what are you planning to build this in?
So I'm using a HTML5 template for this.
Oh, okay, cool. Also, we're starting this new thing. I don't know if David mentioned to you, but during Design Crit, when you are presenting and we're like looking through your work, you can play a song of your choice in the background. So I'll leave you to DJ whatever music you provide. Great. It looks like a lot of people added comments. These are all really great. I have a few thoughts. So on the home page, I already wrote this down, but I'm just going to reiterate. So homepage, when you have like the like two shades of purple going like this, it kind of
Mhm.
like makes me go my eye go like this, even though the content is like stacked. And so I would
Right.
consider using like a solid color strip for each of your case studies instead of making the checkered pattern.
Okay.
The colors you pick are really great. Like I really like the bright color in contrast with the black and the white. I would just like use them overall a little bit more sparingly. So try to edit a little bit more. So for example, on the case study page,
Hmm.
I think the set the mood section with the mood board looks really like the color looks really good together. But then when you scroll down, there's like more colors happening everywhere. And so I would just make sure to like edit the number of colors you use and really let the imagery be the pops of color on your pages. So
Okay.
like for example, you might not even need that pop of pink because it's like already so bright with your mood board. Your designs are really bright and colorful. So maybe think about how you can use those as the color instead of like constantly making the background a color.
Right. Okay.
And then my other thought was on the left, so in the homepage, like there's like the left sidebar, and then on the case study page, it's like a top sidebar, and so that might be a little bit jarring to have it move from like left sidebar to the top bar. So maybe try to consolidate it into one or the other.
Okay. And then you said something about my name seems random. What were you saying there?
Oh, so that was like a very random thought. Okay, so your name right now on the homepage on the left, I don't know like what the state is, but if you go to the homepage on the left, your name is kind of just like chilling in the top left corner by itself. So I wonder if you can somehow bring it in with a different element on the page,
Okay.
because right now it's kind of like very separated from everything else, so people might miss it. So maybe one idea would be to pull it in closer to the navigation. So in your navigation, everything is right aligned. You could also left align everything in your navigation so that your name is left aligned with all the navigational elements. So just like try to figure out how you can bring it in to your design more.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Um, Anyone else have anything they want to add?
Looks awesome. Very nice.
Thanks.
Imani, any follow-up questions?
I'll work on that.
Yeah, I
But
feel you. I love colors, so it's
yeah.
hard to edit.
But yeah, thanks guys.
Awesome. Next up, Septa.
Okay, hello. I'm going to share my portfolio, and I use Wix. I'm not. I'm sure it's not the best option, but I tried the Squarespace, but it doesn't work for me. And this template somehow I can work with that, and is the thing that I want for my portfolio. But if it's not good, I'm open to change that as well. Here is my homepage, and also I choose 3 projects, and I write. I didn't finish my case study, but is half done. Is here, and I need the feedback to how I can improve. Is it anything that it doesn't work? General feedback, anything that I can improve to make it work and make it better as also. Yeah, it's not finished. It's up to my wireframing. And also I have my about page and contact me. And also I want to make the video like this, but I couldn't find any tutorial for that. I have a problem to how I can make this type of video for my portfolio.
Thanks for walking us through that. Is it possible to share a link to the preview for the Wix so that we can play around with it?
I'm not sure how I can.
It's okay. It might be best if you just like go back to the live page and just like kind of like slowly scroll around, and then we can try to give feedback while you're slowly skimming.
Sure.
And I'll link some resources for how you can record that. Are you
Thanks.
on Mac or PC?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Okay, let's take 2 more minutes to leave our comments. Great. Anyone have anything they want to ask or clarify or comment on? Okay. Well, I think it's really great how much you have like up. Like it's really awesome to see something like in a website format, and so I think that's really exciting. Just some things to think about, like especially with this type of screenshot. So I actually don't recommend that people put stuff in a laptop or in like a desktop thing, just because it's so hard to see. I would try putting it in a browser instead. A browser window with just like the little frame at the top is a lot stronger because then you can see the design a lot more. Look at Dribbble for some inspiration. I think when you put it in a device, it just gets hard to see, and the most important part is being able to see the design work. The other thing is that this background feels a little bit random in comparison to the design itself, and so try to pick colors that are complement the ones that you have in your designs, or just use a more neutral color. My other note is, I know that I think Zeke wrote this as well, but yeah, cut down the words on our case study. Designers don't read. I know that writing helps you think through your ideas and stuff, but I will be honest that I almost never read case studies in detail. I'll look at the bullet points, I'll look at the bolded text, I'll look at the headings and the images, and I might read it later, but at a first glance, it's really all the images and the large text that really helps. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Seppi. You go by Seppi?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Anna Rosa.
Hi, can you hear me okay? So I shared the link on the freehand. Oh, I have to share my screen too. Sorry. Wait. Okay, apparently I cannot share my screen for some reason.
Do you want me to share it?
Yes, that will be good because I had probably to look at the configuration. I got an update and this thing is just causing pain.
Just let me know where I should go.
Yeah, I had to leave the meeting too. Yeah, so I work, thank you, Elizabeth. So I worked on last week on that presentation that you are it. So that's my build week case study. So I worked on the presentation last week. I'm telling you that because I didn't present on Friday. I was supposed to present this and I was planning on speaking out, but I don't think I have time for that now. So if you can just at the presentation, just if you have any idea of the, probably will be better if I talk about it and present it. But maybe on next Friday I can present it. So what I want to feedback mainly is on the portfolio pieces. So yes, over there, that's my landing page. And then on the right is my case study. And the last one is my about section. So I want to just feedback on what do you think about that, if it is too much text, if it needs more picture. The thing is I don't have a lot of pictures, so I was planning on just take pictures of me and a whiteboard and just pointing out things because I don't have a lot of pictures or things to put in the portfolio from my first case study. So I was just planning of me being the whiteboard the persona, and I put there a little label that it says this will be a picture of me looking at the persona, but in a whiteboard, not just the persona there. So because I read somewhere that if you put pictures of you looking at it looks more engaging apparently if you have picture of you working or explaining things to other people. It looks more like a welcoming for some reason. So yeah, if you have any feedback, and also I'm here with May. So yeah. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, let's leave some comments in Slack. Also, did you name your dog after Game of Thrones?
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, that's the why. So he kind of looks like a ghost, yes, and some people they don't even ask me. They just say, "Oh yes, he looks like a ghost." Nobody assumes that he's from Game of Thrones. Just a couple people have tell me, "Is it for Game of Thrones?" Yes, it is for Game of Thrones. Thank you. So over there, where you're looking at, the previous image is just black and white, and someone gave me like a feedback there and saying like maybe if you pop some color on the image over there. So I like started putting like more of the accent color there because apparently it was kind of boring. So I was just like, okay, I'll add some color. And one of my favorite things about me is just my glasses. So I throw in like face in that and that because I like them a lot.
Oh my God, we have so many people to go through. Okay, I will speed through this. Please, everyone keep commenting. I would actually, stylistically, I think I'm still screen sharing, great. So I think this illustration is really great, but there's a lot of stuff that's distracting from it at a glance. And so something to consider is with this like top navigation bar, I wonder if it could just be like on the white background without the drop shadow, without the blue. So that just kind of the entire background is white and you're just focused on this illustration. Because I think the pops of color you added are really great, but the blue like navigation bar is kind of like fighting attention with the illustration. So that would be something I'd consider because I think this is really great and like really showcases you. The other thing is that I would do a pass on your drop shadows. I think the drop shadows that you are using across the site from the header to this one to like I think there's like another one that was like somewhere down here. They're all like kind of like very harsh. They're very like they're just like drop shadow, and so try to either tone them down or try to get rid of them. I don't know if you need them. They kind of like like I don't know if you need a drop shadow. I don't know if it needs to be in a circle. It seems pretty random that you're using this font here that you don't use anywhere else. So do a little pass on your font system across.
Yeah, I have. So throughout the whole portfolio, I use Helvetica for some titles and Laro for most of all the text.
Yeah.
And on the About Me section, it was just a banner.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, so I would like. So I based out my template of a persona. So in my template, I had Avenir, and I don't know why I didn't thought of changing it. I just like left it like that. And I was like, kind of looks different. And I checked this morning, and it was like, oh, it's because it's another type of font.
Yeah, Lotto and Helvetica and Avenir are all like a little bit too similar to each other to put together because it's like this looks pretty them. So like pick one and just stick to that type. Because I think this is fine, but then like here it's like super random. It's like like what happened? So just try to pick one and then stick to it for the entire portfolio.
Also, I wanted to ask you based on that, what you say about the shadows. I do use a lot of shadows some case in some stuff. Do you have like any resources about like shadows like that we can or I can look at? Because like I don't know how I should be using shadows in some of the cases or what like the best use of shadows. Sometimes I just look on some shadows and it's like, oh, that looks kind of cool, so I just go inspect and just copy the shadow and just like put it in mine.
Yeah, so shadows are really hard. The easiest thing to do about shadows is to not use shadows. So I would consider not using them first, and then like when you have time, like go back and experiment. So this one, for example, is really harsh. It's just like it doesn't really like blend in with the background. So if I was to like revisit this, I would make it a lot lighter. So maybe like more like 16 like percent opacity, add some color. So maybe incorporate some of the blue into the
Mhm.
shadow. But honestly, here you don't need the shadow. Like if you got rid of
Okay.
the shadow here, it would look fine.
Okay.
Just like a thought, yeah. Here as well, like this one's a lot more subtle, right? Try to add some subtle tint into the shadow. Like this one, I barely noticed because I was not distracted by it. Whereas this one, I was like, there's like
Drop shadow.
okay, great. Up next is Zabdiel.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. So yesterday morning, I think I said that or Monday, I think it was, I don't know, that I wanted to change like the look and feel of my portfolio, given the feedback I received from both Elizabeth and some of you guys. So I started like pulling images together and gather things that I want to use. So I don't know, for some reason I want to use like borders and lines to like separate the content. From here, I like using the different colors on the text to differentiate like what they mean. So I can use like maybe have like the dark blue for the main text, but then for the like subtitles and things like that, I can use like the blue or something like that. All right, so now I'm gonna go into the what's going on. Oh, there we go. Sorry, speaking a little slow. There we go. So here's the main page so here's how I have it now. First of all, like my live portfolio looks like this. It's on Squarespace. So I mean, you can like Google my name and you'll find it. So this is where I maybe want to go this direction. Way more simple. And like I said, I'm using here like the little lines and stuff to divide the content. So if you were click on this, I'm still not sure if I wanted to have it like below or if we will load like in a new page and then go into the about me, which would then look like this. Pretty similar to what I have. It's just like maybe like broken up. And then they have here like this control to like go back to the home and like download the resume and then go to the projects. And then this I haven't gotten to this part yet. I'm still working like on the homepage and stuff. But then when they go into the projects page, it will look like this. And then when they click on, let's say, Woodrow, then they'll go into the case study, which I'm still in the process of restructuring now that I'm adding the wireframe and trying to connect the part of the wireframes going into the high fidelity. So I took out all of the landing page and the sign up forms and all that stuff and let it just be about the product part of the project. Yeah, so any feedback pretty much essentially will be on like these pages here on the homepage. So I don't know, anything you want to add? Any comments about new versus old? That's it.
Are you planning on using the blue background in the case study too?
No, the project. So for each project, they have like their own like sort of like brand colors, and then I'll be using those in the pages. So the blue is mostly for the stuff that's general about me, because I did like years ago when I finished the other bootcamp that I went to, I did like a whole like my branding, and it was like those three colors: the blue, the beige, and the I don't know what to call it, like a green color. So I had everything, like even like business cards and everything made on those colors. So yeah.
It's sharp. I like that.
Thank you.
I just want to say that I really like this direction you're headed. I think before, everyone should keep writing, but before, like, there was like if you could look at like the second screen, like there's a lot going on, a lot of different visual styles and stuff, and I love how much focus there is. I think like a lot of people are saying this blue like really really stands out, and it definitely isn't attention grabbing. Like I think a lot of people, like even though it's like kind of jarring to look at for too long, would be interested in learning more about you just from such a simple treatment of type color. And so I think it's really strong right now, and I would just keep tweaking it a little bit. There's like a lot of like different ideas in the thread that you can mess around with more, but I think conceptually, I think it's in a good direction, and I like how you are kind of taking it over into the case study page, where but in a light way. So I think it's very easy to like bring all those elements into your case study page as well. But I like how it kind of like becomes like a lighter transition over there. So really excited to see where this goes. And are you doing in this Squarespace?
My original one was in Squarespace. Now I'm moving into Webflow.
Okay, cool. Webflow has a little bit of a learning curve, and so
Yeah.
I would reach out to like I know Kermit has used it a lot, so you can ask him for some help if you ever run into anything there.
Yeah, I mean I got it all the way to like my own homepage because I was just like redoing it like to the grid, but then I decided to change it, so then I stopped working because I don't want to like keep working on something that's gonna be eventually be like thrown out. To Sig, no, I didn't copy Canyon's colors, dude. I did this like I chose these colors like 2 years ago.
It's the same exact colors, man. I don't
Well, you
know.
copied me. I can't. I don't know what to tell you, dude. I can send you like my orders for the business cards. It's copying me. Probably found my portfolio and liked it too much.
That's fair.
Great. Anyone else have things they want to add? Awesome. Next up, we have Landon.
I'm not going to play any songs, unfortunately. So mine's going to be pretty quick today. It's more on the format of the case study but I've been working on a lot of the copy, and so I don't really need a bunch of feedback on the copy. I'm running it past a bunch of people and things like that. So for this case study, I got a lot of good feedback last week from Elizabeth, and I mean, the first thing you said get rid of the video, but I really like it. I think it does a good job of just explaining the platform as a whole, and a really good job of showcasing the project that I'm working on, or that I'm presenting. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm sorry.
Can I add a quick comment about that?
Okay.
About why? If you can get it to autoplay,
I can get it to autoplay. I feel like I'm annoying though, don't you?
If you can get it to autoplay on mute.
Okay. That's a good call.
Yeah, I feel like I've never clicked on a video in a portfolio because then I'm scared the audio is going to come on. And so usually what happens is that it looks more like a GIF in the background.
Yeah, I can try. I think I can do it.
I'm worried that no one's going to click on it, but.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Good idea. And then for the titles, I liked what you said, like, I don't know, maybe last week or 2 weeks ago about having specific titles relating to like what the section that you're working on. And so I wanted to have like a subtitle and then what it was actually doing. So I added these in, just kind of clarifying what was going on. Because in this case, if what you're saying, like designers don't really want to read, then they can just like read over like a title really quick and then look at things. I do have GIFs for these. I'm having a really hard time minimizing that or compressing them to be the right size, because they have like a max amount of 25 megs, and so I have really good GIFs for these, and I'm just working right now trying to make them smaller, just lessening like the frame rate and the quality to make them the right size. So that's why I don't have GIFs in this yet. I know that's something you suggested, and I thought that was a really good idea, but I'm working on it, trying to make them under that 25 megabyte threshold. And then I do have like a few different graphics, and continued to use these titles throughout, just kind of talking about what the paragraph talks about in an easier way. And this is a GIF too. It's for the final high fidelity, so it just goes through the platform like really quickly. I want to make like 15 seconds. I have it done. I just need to make it the right size again. And then, yeah, and then this is going to be the final GIF of just full text. And it looks, I'm going to make like a footer that's different. I haven't published it onto the site yet or committed it live. And then, yeah, I'm still working on some aspects of the portfolio, but that's mostly what I'm working on right now is just the format of the case study. So that's pretty much it.
Great. Is this all live? Can we just go to your website?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
One of the things I guess I would say, I was wondering if, in your opinion, do you have like a size you would recommend for GIFs so it wouldn't increase like the loading time of your site so much?
What are you building your site on?
Wix.
Oh, okay, I see. I don't actually know. I would probably like ask some of your developer friends to see if they have any suggestions because I've never run into this issue where the GIFs have to be really small. You might want to consider doing an just like doing a video instead and having the video autoplay. That might load faster.
Yeah, okay.
I think, if I remember correctly. But also don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I didn't want to have like, I mean, it's my own fault. I exported all the GIFs in like 1080 and they're like 60 frames a second. So it like is almost a video. So that's why it's so big. But yeah, I'll work on the GIFs a little more to try and get them in the right place.
Cool. Yeah, so I think everyone's comments here so far are kind of aligned with mine about like if you go into your Design Hub case study, and scroll down. So I think if you just like kind of work on the spacing between elements. So for example, like if you just like pause maybe down like a little bit. So for example, here, like everything feels a little bit cramped. So I think the sizing is fine. I think it could just use like more spacing between the heading and the body text. And then also if you up the line height here slightly to like for the paragraph, now just feels a little bit smushed. And then also if you maybe like increase the spacing, sorry, I'm just like drawing everywhere, but increase the spacing here between each of your like sections so that there's just like a little bit more breathing room. I think it'll be really strong. I think your content is fine, just like the small things. Awesome. Sorry, I'm just like trying to breeze through everything because we have so many people, but as always, like you can always reach out to me afterwards or reach out to the channel if you have any additional questions.
No, you're good. I didn't realize I was muted that whole time. I was just talking to myself. So.
Oh, okay. Next up is Zeke.
Cool. I'll drop my link and share my screen. I'm not sharing like a case study, but I'm sharing something I've been working on that I'm trying to get done because it's like a contract thing and I want to like put it on my site and be able to say like, oh, I got paid to do this one thing. So I sent you guys the link and I'll share my screen. Yeah, so basically just looking to get feedback for like the overall flow. If you guys think this looked professional, this is where I'm at right now. I started working on this like late last week. And I started, let me know what you think. Like, I have an alternate version where I like don't have this background because it might be too loud and have black text instead. And then just if I'm wondering if it's too repetitive to have like these screens over and over. It is like a landing / marketing page trying to get people to like sign up for this app. So like this is the content I have to use, but I'm thinking of maybe like making it so like it's all in, because they're all the same size, like just having arrows and having it just take up one kind of section and being able to click through each one. Yeah, just any comments you guys have. I basically have to use that like blue and green color. Yeah, whatever feedback you guys have. Also, I was gonna play a Frank Ocean song, but I don't know how to do the audio thing. So
You don't know what?
how do you do the audio so it doesn't like
Oh,
play on your speaker?
You do share, and then on the bottom left, or I guess top right, it says advanced, and then just you can share your computer sound only.
Ah, okay. Let's see if this works.
Are you playing it? I don't think it's working.
I thought I was. I feel like I've tried this before and it never works for me.
I can play the song for you if you want to just let me know.
No, it's not a big deal.
It's fine.
But thank you.
Next time.
Also, the pages below are like clearly unfinished, but just so you guys have like an idea for like what the other pages like will be content wise.
While everyone else is looking, do you know what a widow is in typography? Sorry, that was such a weird sentence.
A widow?
Yeah.
No, but I'll look that up after.
Okay, so let me just screen share really quick while people are talking. So this is like one of the smallest things ever, but I think your type is like strong enough with this. So text here had out device. These are all examples of widows, and they're basically just like one word that's like by themselves on the last line. And so if you want to like do this really small nitpicky thing, you can try to get rid of them, and it'll make the sentence feel a lot, or the paragraph feel a lot better, because there isn't just like an awkward word at the end of the last line. Just like a heads up, it'll make it just like, it's like a very detailed thing, but like here it doesn't matter as much because the text is really big and as a heading, so it still feels like anchored, but like especially for like stuff like this, it just makes it feel a little bit more awkward. So you usually have to adjust like the width of the box, or like press enter and start a new line. Yeah.
Cool. Learn something new.
There's also, these are such sad words. There's also orphan, which is like, I don't know why I'm laughing. So there's orphan, which is like the text is like, if you're like reading a book or something, and there's like only one word on the next page, at the top of the next page. That's called an orphan. We should really change these words.
Yeah, horrible terminology.
Yeah. Okay. I only see a few comments. Please keep commenting.
That you say, I hear it in coding video when you are like at the desktop and you are like moving it to the mobile version, when you're like shortening some of the words alone. So I hear that before that you try to, for example, a name, Ana Rosa, you try to code it so it, when you're like making it a font or like make it smaller, it doesn't say like Ana and then Rosa at the bottom. You try to, when it shorts out, it's like complete word, so it doesn't be alone. Like I didn't hear the widow name, but like I hear that it's not like very nice to leave just one word at the end.
That's why it's really annoying. Now I'm being like talking about myself, but my name is really annoying to format with typography because my first name is really long, my like last name is really short, and so then I always look like I'm like falling over. So I always try to put it in one line so that it's like not like it doesn't like off balance my name. Anyway, things to think about. This is really great. I think this will be a really great portfolio piece. I know that originally you're talking about the phone feeling repetitive. I would try using a different frame. So like Anna Rose is just like dying. Okay, I'm covering her face. So basically like I would consider using a different frame. So like I think right now it's a little bit harsh because it's like always the iPhone frame. And so you could try using like a lighter treatment, create your own phone frame that's more abstract. You can also look at like other apps for inspiration. Sometimes they do like abstract representations of the feature. They don't explicitly show the feature. So look into that. That might be something worth exploring.
Cool.
All right. Next up, we have Gabriel, and then we'll end with Caesar.
Okay. I put the links in the chat. So my portfolio, trying to keep it more of a dark mode. I kept in mind when Nick and Chris John and them kept mentioning that the hiring managers would have 20 tabs open. So I thought a dark mode would be nice to kind of go easy on their eyes. Right now I just have one case study since I haven't gone through labs yet. I think it needs more work, but again, I tried to condense it, but this is the condensed version. So I'm more than open to hearing different ways of condensing it. But yeah, this is the last UX project we did. So, and I didn't redesign this after I got feedback, because I remember when Nick had mentioned that hiring managers can sniff that out when you go back and make it pixel perfect in every way. So instead of doing that, I added all the feedback I got from our instructor.
Great. Can you clarify one thing? So you said that you so that the hiring manager can sniff out when someone goes back and changes something. Can you elaborate a little bit more what you mean?
That's something that one of our instructors, Nick, had mentioned, that when everything is, you show your final screen for like a school project, he had mentioned that hiring manager can see that you went back and changed it. So that was my
Okay.
rationale for going back and changing it. I just followed what he had said, so.
Oh yeah, no worries. While people are leaving feedback, I just want to clarify something. So I think it it's okay to like update your case study, so like or your project you've done in the past. So Marlene did this with a couple of her projects, and she just showed like how it changed over time, and I think that's actually makes your project stronger rather than showing like a project where you didn't incorporate the feedback, to show that you have like grown from like the first iteration to like a second iteration, that you can take that feedback. Because a lot of times what the red flag actually is, like if the visuals are really off and you didn't take that feedback and change it, then that would immediately get you rejected. So I just wanted to clarify that it's okay to do another iteration as long as you tell the story in a cohesive way.
So do you think I should get rid of the discoveries at the bottom?
I think it's good to end with discoveries, but also like I would add another iteration. I haven't looked at this in detail, but I think there are some things that could be improved visually about the final design that you have right now. And so using what you've learned the last couple of weeks, it might be good to go back and kind of like revisit some of the visuals of this and show how you can iterate on this design.
Oh yeah, I can definitely go in there and kick its butt. Probably not. It's probably not related, but I wanted to get some feedback on my graphic design one. I tried to keep it all here in the body, but with this one, horizontal design, so it kind of sticks out. I just wanted to see what everybody thought about that. Oh, I guess I should probably drop the link. I already have first couple of pages coded out. I'm doing it myself. I've been working on the web dev on my own since I started here. Having fun.
I think minutes just to like write out some thoughts, and then yeah, and then we'll end with Caesar.
Oh, and I'm sorry, there's old comments in the Envision prototypes. You can just ignore those from the instructors. I already made the changes they suggested from those comments. I just kept them in there so I can go back and review later on. Yeah, originally I had a lot more styling, and a few of the instructors said it was a little overkill, so I simplified it. It's funny you mentioned the nav bar being white. So I had it the same off black as the cards, and one of the instructors said it wasn't standing out enough to. He suggested making it white.
Awesome. I know you just joined Independent Study, so I'll just like say some like higher level things. So with the homepage, I think a lot of designers actually use like a dark background. So I would focus a lot on like making sure that that type at the top is unique and speaks to yourself as a designer. Like think about like things that you like to do outside of design. Like what can you bring to the design industry that is purely you. I know that sometimes feels really annoying to like figure out what those things are, but if you can try to make that sentence more unique, a lot of designers are hardworking and like to take ownership over their work, and so try to make it sound a little less generic and try to make it feel more like you. The other thing is for your case study, right now it's kind of following like a very straightforward design process. Try to think about how your highs and lows of your project and really map those out and craft like a unique story. So as a hiring manager, I might glance at this and be like, oh, they just like kind of went through they did competitive analysis and like made like a sitemap, but do they really understand when they're going to use these methods? That's what I'm really assessing for when I'm looking at a case study. Finally, the last thing is with with your graphic design stuff, I would actually probably not put it on your portfolio or put it in a separate section, just because a lot of times graphic design people look for very, very different things from product designers or UX designers, and it might actually hinder your likelihood of getting a role because they might see it and it might not be what they're looking for and they might get confused. So it actually just like only focus on UX stuff just because that's what you'll be hiring for. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, when I spoke to one of the instructors, he told me the opposite. He said it was a good skill set to bring to the table, because when he was working in UX, they always had to hire freelance graphic designers, and that it would be something good to show.
Yeah, I think it depends. So we can talk more about that later. I think it highly depends on the industry and the hiring manager as well. And so yeah, we can chat about that later. And then sorry to keep rushing. We're so over time, and I have a one-on-one with Serena who is here, who's gonna just observe. She's from UX 7, I think 6. Anyway, finally, Caesar.
Cool. All right. So today I've mainly been working on like getting the case studies out, but yesterday I was kind of more focused on the UI of the portfolio, and I went ahead and shared the link. You guys can access it there, but I do need help on like the case study. Like I've been taking notes and sort of seeing that illustrations and like I forgot who had one, or there was like a portfolio I saw where they used like a slide deck to kind of like do a quick proof of like showing iterations, but that's for another time. Right now for the design career, I kind of just want to see like what you guys think about the different, I guess, hero. I'm not sure like the landing pages. Each box, each one on the side is going to be a different project, and it's sort of going to have like this animation where the beam comes out, and the blobs are all really animated. And I know Webflow has a really, I wouldn't say simple, but it's like they simplify the use of animation. So I kind of want to use that to like its best ability. But yeah, so for each one, it'd be like a hover state. The beam would come out. I just mainly wanted to go for something that was eye-catching for hiring managers, but you know, there's something that always goes too far. But yeah, so there's like the nav bar on the side over here too, where you can contact or learn about me. I dragged this from my last design portfolio. Gabe, I'm not sure if you remember how that looked, but yeah. So either keeping this or just like redesigning it. But once you click on a project, it'll take you to this type of page where you can start seeing like the case study for everything else. I didn't want to drag and drop it. I wanted to go back and revisit my old case study outline and sort of just go off of there. So that's kind of what I've been doing today. I've been working on the previous one, and I've been working for the Price My Airbnb one. So yeah, I just kind of like need help choosing out of these three which one goes better. Like, I know this one has difficulty with the background. And then like I want to have something on the side menu, on the sidebar, that goes through the different projects, and then like down here is like contact me type version. So I'm not sure what it's at. Like these colors aren't the final ones, but something like for the email, for my Instagram, for LinkedIn, that, or having like a block text, or even if I need to have that. So yeah. Go ahead and mute myself now.
Awesome. You said you have 3 that you were deciding between. Can you remind us which ones they are?
Yeah, it's these 3. There's like the
Okay.
there's like the black color, like the dark mode, and then there's like the light mode with the dark text, and then there's just the light mode with the light text. Oh, that's on top of it. That's supposed to be like in the back. It's supposed to like, yeah. And then also feel free to tell me like if I'm going too far on this. Like sometimes that's like a self-crit for me. Just yeah.
Did you intentionally cover that? Right.
Are you talking about this right here? Or
The orange, is that, did you intentionally cover the text?
it's supposed to be like the orange box right here is supposed to be like a
Oh, it's a
an
pop-up.
icon. Yeah, like a pop-up. There we go. But yeah, I'm kind of debating whether I should even have that. So yeah, like my idea is to, whenever you click on the logo, you kind of just go back to the landing page. But there's like the other projects right here. I'm not sure if they would even need this, like kind of contact me if anyway. Or I could just have like that be an email icon. I'm not sure. There's like so many routes.
Awesome. If everyone wants to add their comments in the thread, that'd be really great. I am like obsessed with these blobs that you draw. I think, like you're saying, like you're just gonna have to figure out like how not to go too far. So the best way to do that, I think, will be to put in like to fill in those square placeholder squares you have. So stop like just using placeholder squares and actually put in real like screenshots of your work along with text, or see, just kind of try to figure out that side, because that will kind of help you decide if you can add more swashes and more blobs. But I think just having the blobs on the left side is already really, really strong, and you really don't need much more than that. Like, I like how you're having a bunch of fun on the right, but if you just stick to one of these directions that you've shared, I think it already stands out a lot, especially if they're like moving around.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to kind of talk to you about, Elizabeth, was like, I didn't want to use the logos that were for each project because they kind of just look different. So like maybe reformatting it and just having like the name of the projects in here, or like whether I should go screenshots, because I remember hearing that like not to use the landing page screenshots. I'm
Yeah,
not
I would
sure.
experiment with it. So like
Mhm.
experiment with a few versions. You could try text only too. Since you're like the visuals of the homepage are so strong, it might be okay if you just do text only to
Mhm.
like say what the project is, and then when you click into it, you see everything else. Try a few versions. Try not doing the zigzag. The zigzag is actually kind of
Yeah.
distracting. So, but so try a few different things and try to consolidate like colors you use. So for example, like these ones right now are really wild. They're very different from the homepage. So try to think about how you're gonna bring in the homepage with the case study and have a consistent like story or a consistent sidebar across those pages. If you
Yeah.
use the blobs on the homepage, for example, maybe you should use blobs here instead of the line. Those are all things to consider. Just think about how you can edit down the system. I think all the ideas were great. Just try to use the fewest number of elements possible that are
Yeah.
unique.
Because that's definitely something I suffer with, like giving myself too many options. The way I was thinking for the zigzags were kind of like each project would coordinate with it, but I could still see how it's like super distracting. Thanks.
Yeah, and then everyone else, please keep adding comments. I know that yours is a little bit rushed, so feel free to set up time with me later if you want to talk a little bit more. But thanks everyone for staying like 15 minutes over time. And as always, follow up with any questions. Good luck. You've all come really far in the last couple of weeks, and you should be proud of how far your portfolios have come since day one. Great. Marlene will upload the video later, and I will see you all soon. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you.